We begin tonight. The walls are caving in around the deep state, and tonight we can absolutely, positively report a pivotal document release is only days away. We're talking about transcripts, specific transcripts from the FBI's top-secret surveillance of the Trump campaign aides George Papadopoulos and George Carter. This at the height of the 2016 election. Papadopoulos will be here in a moment to preview this major development. He used exculpatory language, and we actually have the tapes and transcripts. And according to our sources, this is groundbreaking information filled with copious amounts of exculpatory evidence. In other words, Obama's DOJ, Comey's FBI, they had a mountain of information proving that Trump-Russia collusion was always a hoax. They knew it on 5 different levels. Massive red flags were littered all over the place, but instead of putting the brakes on their witch hunt, they kept digging and digging and digging, blinded by this rage, this hatred, desperate to take down the president, Donald Trump, who they never understood why he won, because they didn't think of it. And by the way, their guiding light the entire time, Hillary Clinton's Russian, bought and paid for, unverifiable, dirty dossier full of lies. A clear example of what is premeditated fraud, conspiracy against Trump, members of his campaign, and guess what? On FISA courts. All must be held accountable. Now, thankfully, truth did prevail. 4 separate investigations to date have cleared the president and his campaign of any and all wrongdoing. And the hoax has been laid bare for all to see, and we will be giving you so much more information. Democrats in Congress, apparently they haven't gotten the memo. Gary Nadler's clown show is in full swing, never-ending stream of frivolous subpoenas after failing to haul in former White House counsel Don McGahn. Well, then Nadler issued subpoenas for his chief of staff. Even former aide Hope Hicks, who, by the way, currently serves as an EVP at this network here at Fox. Oh, so we're going to make Hope Hicks spend, what, another $1 million on lawyers to answer the same exact questions again? Only this time, it will be a perjury trap because, God forbid, anyone that goes before Congress, if they got one minor detail, one little discrepancy that's wrong or different from the last time they testified, that's called a perjury trap. Now, the Attorney General, Barr, defied a request to appear before Nadler's circus and is now speaking out, telling the Wall Street Journal, quote, I felt the rules were being changed to hurt the president, President Trump, and I thought it was damaging for the presidency over the long haul. If you destroy the presidency and make it an errand boy for Congress, we're going to be a much weaker, more divided nation. Democrats don't seem to care. They're still fuming. And don't forget, Clinton aide, remember Brian Pagliano, Hillary's aide, server, Chappaqua, etc.? Well, he totally ignored his 2016 congressional subpoena related to the Hillary email scandal investigation. At the time, Democrats, they could have cared less. Again, selective moral outrage. Make no mistake, we are now witnessing this selective outrage at its worst. And meanwhile, Jerry Nadler's circus is also eager to feature, they want Robert Mueller to come in. Democrats are hoping for one last round of baseless Trump conspiracy theories and hoaxes they can perpetrate on the American people. But Team Mueller is reportedly reluctant to testify publicly. And by the way, probably for good reason. Now, we'll have to answer, in his case, very important questions. For example, I'd like to know why did he hire a team of only Democratic donors? Why did he actually hire Hillary Clinton's former attorney for the Clinton Foundation? Why would he ever give so much power to Andrew Weissman, hyper-partisan, Hillary-loving hack? He was at Hillary's victory party with an atrocious professional track record. When did he realize that Russia collusion actually never happened? When did he learn about Hillary's bought and paid for Russian dossier? And by the way, to impact the race. And that's important. Mueller needs to answer. If he had time to investigate taxi medallions, decades-old tax returns, bank fraud on loan applications, perjury, he didn't have time to look into real evidence of collusion because it featured Hillary, the heart of his so-called mandate, and, of course, Christopher Steele, multiple foreign governments. No time for that either. And by the way, I have some bad news for Democrats. Look at this new poll. Most Americans, they are not interested in Mueller appearing before Congress. They got it. They read it. It's over. You just don't recognize a simple truth. The witch hunt is done. The only thing left now is, yes, the second act, that curtain goes up, but you'll have the radical base of the Democratic Party out there calling for impeachment even long into Trump's second term. Nancy Pelosi, she's only Speaker of the House in name only, being pushed around by her colleagues, freshman Congresswoman, socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's the real Speaker, and she's demanding that the president be removed from office, and Nancy better watch out and listen.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who I just caught up with as well, and also said that this caucus should not be hesitant in moving forward with impeachment.
You know, I trust the Speaker is taking a measured approach to ensure that we're moving everyone forward. I know that being a Speaker is hard. Holding this party together is a difficult task, but I think that we have work to do. I personally believe that I think we have to move forward.
Thank you.
What you're watching there is Nancy Pelosi, Speaker in name only, has lost all control in the U.S. House of Representatives. By the way, sad sight to really behold. She is utterly now powerless to the radical demands from people like Ocasio-Cortez and others. And according to a report from Politico, massive infighting now taking place among Capitol Hill Democrats. And, of course, the infighting is already in full gear in the deep state. Congressman Doug Collins, who will join us in a moment, issued a massive document release yesterday, hundreds of pages, scores of closed-door testimony, transcripts, Loretta Lynch, Andrew McCabe, so many others. And thanks to this release, we now know that Loretta Lynch was pretty much accusing James Comey of lying before Congress. That would be lying before Congress, testifying under oath that she never asked Comey to refer to the Clinton criminal investigation as just a matter, the way Comey said. Somebody's lying. Somebody committed perjury. The only question now is, was it Comey or was it Lynch or maybe both? And coming up, we have a treasure trove of developments from these newly released transcripts. It's pretty clear. The high-ranking anti-Trump officials in the deep state, they are scared and they are forming a circular firing squad as the walls begin to cave in. They know what they did. They know they're in deep trouble. And breaking tonight, John Solomon is back with another bombshell new report detailing yet another red flag in the FBI's witch hunt into the Trump-Russia so-called collusion. According to John Solomon tonight, investigative reporter for The Hill, State Department official Kathleen Kavalek did in fact send the FBI a salacious piece of so-called intelligence from her meeting, which, by the way, was not appropriate, with Christopher Steele. Only problem was that the intel was total and complete BS, which could have easily been disproven with any simple level of verification. That never happened. Several days later, Comey then used Steele's BS as the basis for the FISA request, and he signed the first FISA application. Now, by the way, a request he swore was verified, says it at the top of the document, and accurate and true.